What's going on? Kevin, how you doing this morning? Nate Dogg, what's up? Can you guys hear me fine? Please let me know that you can hear me okay. Nice. How you doing, Kevin? Week 5 here already. Game day pre-gaming. Let me check, make sure YouTube's fired up, ready to go. Nice. Nate, how you doing? All right. Let me turn off this cursor here. I'll drive us nuts. Nate, can you hear me fine? Ha! I bet, man. The elephant ear I had was awesome. I couldn't do that crowd, though, man. I seen pictures on Facebook. There's no way I could have done that crowd. I'd have had a spaz attack. All right, well, news is in that Stephon Diggs looks like he's going to follow through and play this week. Nice, thank you. I need to add Terry McLaurin, true game time decision. We'll add him to that list of game time decisions. Joe, how you doing this morning? PJ, how you doing? Kevin says, "Hi, Rick, first-time caller, long-time listener. Wondering about a Tampa Bay stack against the Saints. I'll take your answer off the air." How you guys doing? I don't think a Tampa Bay stack's necessarily bad. I think it's going to be a little bit high owned. A lot of people chase the points from last week. Obviously, Godwin with the 44 points he had or whatever on DK. Definitely going to have a lot of chasers there, so it could end up being a little high owned, but I don't think it's bad. If you find differentiation elsewhere, then could definitely pay off. Paul asks, Gallman or Hilton? Got Jarvis ready if Hilton sits. I think it's Hilton against KC. Gallman, terrible matchup. His fantasy production looked great last game, but he wasn't particularly efficient. And I would rather not attack Minnesota, so I would go Hilton there. Mute the other computer. Thoughts on Damian Williams? Damian Williams depends on what other options you've got. Obviously, he's still not. He should play. Should, quotes. That's what everything's saying that I've got. Michael Brown says Diggs or Hollywood Brown. I'd probably go Diggs if he's active. And it sounds like he's going to be, so I probably go Diggs. Though I am playing a lot of Hollywood Brown and DFS, I don't know if I can trust him in my lineup. And I have a feeling that Minnesota is going to take advantage of the Giants through the air a little bit, try to help these guys that are not happy in Minnesota. So I think I go Diggs there. Jarvis Landry or DJ Shark. PJ. I probably go Jarvis. I'm not on the trust bandwagon with Shark yet. And Carolina's really good against the pass. So I think we'd rather attack them on the ground. So I probably go Jarvis. Is Dak a good play today against the Green Bay defense? I do not think so. Green Bay has been really good against the quarterback, and I would rather not try to attack them if you have another option. Yeah, I agree, Paul. I think that they're going to try to get these guys some looks, make them happy. Obviously, they're going to need them at times this season. You know, I said it last week. In close games, they're going to have to throw more. And they're not going to blow people out like they did in weeks 1 and 3. And they're not going to face Green Bay's secondary and pass defense like they did in week 2. So they're going to have to pass the ball. And they need to get these guys some looks, make them happy. Just simply for the success of their team going forward. Nate asks, Watkins or Kittle? They're both going to get looks. I think it's a true 50-50. I'd probably flip a coin. That's if Watkins goes. It sounds like he's going to, but I got to keep an eye on that. But I truly think that's a 50-50. They should both see 7-8 targets. My wide receivers are depleted. Adams and Hill out. Please tell me Juju will play today. I can tell you Juju will play, but, you know, if that toe's been bothering him since week 1, if they really want to get him healthy, then they probably need to have him sit out this week. With Mac being a game time decision, is Hines worth a shot? I want to bench Josh Jacobs. Yeah, Josh Jacobs is in a really tough matchup. So if you can avoid playing him, then yeah. I don't know if he's worth benching for Hines. Oh. Joe says he's playing against me this week, so he's not going to ask any sit-start questions for that team. You know, I'll always give you an honest answer of who I'd start. If you beat me, you beat me. Ryan, how you doing? Like Debo for San Fran if Cleveland sits Greedy and Ward. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just so hard to figure out what San Fran's going to do. You know, we think it's Debo for sure, and then Pettis steps up, and then people think it's Pettis, and then Debo step up, or Goodwin will get involved, or Kittle will just have 14 targets. Other options other than Hines are Duke and Ito. Well, Ito's out of the question for me. Atlanta gets carved up by running backs catching the ball. But we've got a true split between Hyde and Duke. Duke, mostly the stuff through the air, but Hyde's been involved catching the ball too. I don't think I can start him. I think I would start Hines out of those guys because he's going to get work, but they haven't been passing to the running back very much either. Marlon Mack's been running a lot of routes. He wasn't getting targeted. Just hopefully Mack plays and you can just throw him in there. He hurt me. I played a lot of Mack last week though, and it hurt. Tom Wiggehorn, how you doing? Yeah, so we got to look like I forgot to put John Ross on here. Let's add him to the inactives. Who do I start? Dak or Deshaun? Deshaun, Gary. You want to start Deshaun. Great matchup. Atlanta not stopping anybody. I'm firing up Deshaun with confidence. I'm not going to attack Green Bay with my quarterbacks and pass catchers. They've been stout against the pass. You want to attack Green Bay on the ground. Hey, Tom, if you're still watching, Paul says to check your trades. Is Fuller GPP only? Yes, I would only play Fuller in GPP. I think that there are better and safer options. But Ryan, I know you're a little more of a risk taker in cash than I am, so definitely has the upside. Not a problem, Gary. I try to be as safe as possible in my cash lineup, so I won't take as many risks. Jeremy, how you doing? Is Philly the play in Survivor? Let me pull up the whole schedule. I have not really paid attention to Survivor so far, or this year, like I did last year, which upsets me because I did pretty well last year. Okay, so Ravens, Steelers. No, try not to do in division. Bears, but you probably want to save them. Eagles could be a play for sure. Patriots, obviously. Vikings. Yeah, I think the options this week The solid ones are Chiefs, Vikings, Eagles, and Bears. Would be the 4 that I'd probably have in my survivor pool. If I'm breathing, I'm doing well, Jeremy. I just like to breathe. Really, really busy. Okay, so if you're not in our Discord chat, I was talking last night how I think that Eifert is bad chalk. Ryan's asking me if I think Eifert is bad chalk. Why not Knox, Cook, or Fant and Cash? And none of them are locks to succeed. And that's why I'm not really on them in cash when I can just pay down at wide receiver, pay up at tight end, and get secured targets. There's so much volatility with tight ends. If I can lock up a Waller or an Andrews that are going to get targets, then I'm going to do that in cash. I'm not convinced that Eifert's going to get a ton of targets. And he could end up getting 5 targets with 1 catch for a touchdown and still not hit 3x. And they get in the red zone, as I mentioned last night. He's got to compete with Mixon. He's got to compete with Uzoma. He's got to compete with Auden Tate and Tyler Boyd. So there's a lot of options. Then we have the fact that Cincy and Arizona are both bad. That game could just turn into a shit show. And we expect scoring because they run a lot of plays, but they are both bad teams. And it could not go well. Yeah, and I like Eifert. I've always liked Eifert. He's got talent, but they're just the usage, and we can argue that with John Ross being out that he may get used more, but we have no idea. Like that, I don't think that John Ross affects Eifert much. Paul, I did tell Tom to check his stuff. Should I start Kyler Murray, Winston, or Wentz? Okay, well, first off, if these are your 3 options and a 1 quarterback, then you should, if somebody's quarterback hungry, you should look to trade one of those guys. You're going to have a headache every week trying to figure out which one of these guys to start. Personally, I'm not going to go after New Orleans. Wentz is the safe play. Murray's got the upside. Winston's got upside too. But I'll take the rushing floor of Murray over, Winston doesn't rush very much. So I would look at your roster and see if you think you need upside or if you need the safe play. So if you need the safe play, Wentz, he also has some upside. If I needed the upside at quarterback, then I would take Kyler Murray personally. Yankees fan, that's terrible. I don't even want to help you because I know you're a Yankees fan, but flex, Jordan Howard or Sammy Watkins, PPR league. I'm going Sammy Watkins if he plays. He's still getting heavily targeted, and Jordan Howard's not. And I don't think Jordan Howard's going to find the end zone 3 times like he did last game. So go ahead and give me Mr. Watkins. And all jokes aside, I'm a little upset. You guys got our boy Gleyber Torres, and you still have Chapman. So that's why I'm not a Yankees fan. But good luck in the playoffs. Tim Barrett asks, Josh Jacobs or MVS, flex PPR? I don't like either matchup. I don't like the Dallas defense, but I'm playing MVS anyway. He's got Aaron Rodgers, and Josh Jacobs has a really tough matchup this week. Winston or Mayfield? I'll go Mayfield. Monday night game. 49ers are actually very improved against the run. They do get some pressure, but maybe Cleveland finally got over that hump. Yep, Torres was in the Chapman trade, so they've got both of the guys. We got the World Series out of it, so that's fine, but that dude's the one that hurts me the most, Jeremy, is Soler for Wade Davis. It's just so gross. I hated the trade since the day it was made. I'm a little biased because I met Soler back in 2016 before they won the World Series. Yeah, that one just chaps my ass all the time. Jamil over on YouTube asks, flex PPR, Thielen, MVS, Emmanuel Sanders, or Landry. You have a lot of good options here. I probably go Thielen because I'm wondering, and this is the tough part about the Broncos receivers, Emmanuel Sanders or Sutton are going to be shadowed by Harris. And even if he switches off, it's not a good match, or not Harris. It's early, and I just had a brain fart. Hayward from the Chargers. So one of them is going to have Casey Hayward on him. I was thinking Chris Harris from the Broncos. One of them's going to have Casey Hayward on him, so I probably go Thielen in that squeaky wheel narrative. Yeah, Jeremy, and then he led the American League in home runs, hit 265, 116 RBIs this year. Better season than any Cub had this year. So, for Wade freaking Davis, drives me bonkers. No, it's not that. It's just that the New Orleans defense turned a corner last week, and obviously, I don't know whether this Tampa Bay offense is really taking the next step. Jameis could have another good week. I'm choosing not to attack New Orleans until I see what's real and what's not. New Orleans was... I'll say this. Dak Prescott has faced 4 of the 5 worst or best, however you want to look at it, defenses versus the quarterback, giving up the most points to quarterbacks, with Miami, New Orleans, Giants, and Washington. All 4 of those teams give up a ton of points to the quarterback. New Orleans obviously shut them down. Now, did New Orleans take a step forward? Did Dak take a step back? Is it an aberration, or is it what is to come for either side? I don't know. I have been playing Jameis. I've been playing his weapons too. Okay, so Jared Cook, one is that he's a leverage play off of Eifert, which I think Eifert's right now projected to be like right around 20% owned, and the next highest owned tight end comes in around 11-12%. So Eifert is what I call bad chalk. Like I don't believe in it. I understand it's Arizona. They're giving up like 32 points a game to tight ends. but those tight ends are running routes consistently, and Tyler Eifert's not. Tyler Eifert is, I think, on the field for, we can look it up, I think it's like 52% of the snaps. 2019 snap counts. So he's only on the field for 50% of the time, and then he's not even running a route 100% of the time he's on the field. Like, that's just not what I'm looking for in my tight ends. I'd rather get somebody Eifert all the way down. I mean, Goddard is playing a higher snap percentage than Eifert is. And if you think Jamal Adams is going to shut down Ertz, then maybe Goddard's a play this week. Eifert still going down. Eifert, 42% of the snaps. 42% of the snaps Eifert's playing. And then he's just not even running a ton of routes. Like, that's worrisome. Like, why not? If you're going to play him at 3,300, Sprinkle was playing 41% of the snaps before Vernon Davis got hurt. So now Vernon Davis is out. Sprinkle's the starter. He's going to play more snaps, run more routes, and they're probably going to have to rely on a safety net in that game against the Patriots. So, like, why not save 800 and play Sprinkle? But anyways, my point is that Jared Cook is leverage, and for the same reason, they are probably going to need Jared Cook as a safety net. They're going to have to throw more than they've had to, and the Buccaneers are going to put pressure on Teddy Bridgewater. Buccaneers front seven is stout. Their run defense is stout, so they're going to have to pass, and the short passing game is probably going to be in play. So, they want to get Jared Cook involved. Gary said, should I start Eckler or Fournette? I'm starting Fournette. Fournette's getting the work. Carolina's like 28th in adjusted defense versus the run. Not very good. They're harder to attack through the air. So I think that Fournette's going to be a big part of that game plan over there against the Panthers. Now, in cash, if you play Eifert in cash, I have no problem with that because he's the chalk, and you can eat the chalk in cash games. But when it comes to GPPs, I want to get leverage on that ownership. Half PPR flex positions: Stephon Diggs, Damian Williams, or Marlon Mack. If I'm keeping an eye on Marlon Mack. If he's not active, then I'm probably playing Diggs. If Marlon Mack's on the field, then I'll take the work he's going to get. I don't think they're going to play him if he's not good to play and get the work. So Mack would be my first choice, Diggs my second, Williams my third. What's up, Rob Sully? No, we go back and forth on Jameis. My thing isn't that he's a bad fantasy option, especially when you're talking DFS or redraft. My thing is that does he keep the NFL job long enough for dynasty purposes to get you value there? Standard League, Mark Andrews or Waller with Tyrell a long shot. That's a true 50-50. I've been going through that in DFS. They're right next to each other in price. So I just split up my ownership with them. You might have to flip a coin on that one. Jordan Howard or Damian Williams. If Williams is active, then I'm playing Williams over him if it's any sort of PPR. If it's not, then I could see going with Howard. If it's even a half PPR, Standard League. Standard League, I'd probably go Howard then. Somebody's got to talk to me, and maybe I need to get Craig in here. But like, I don't understand the Knox love this week. I don't know if people are just playing them because they see that Tennessee's, bottom third against the tight end or what. But I just can't get on this Dawson Knox bandwagon that people are on. But it might just be one that I'm missing. Dynasty, I traded away Waller for Diggs straight up. What do you think, Rick? PPR, not tight end premium. I think you're nuts. I think you're straight crazy. I think Waller's fine, but there's no way that I'm going to trade Diggs for Waller straight up. Quarter point PPR, Fuller or Manny Sanders. That would come down to, do you need the safe play or the high end? Because if you need the safety, then I don't even know if Manny Sanders is safe this week. I want to know, and maybe Paul can help with this. Like, who's Casey Hayward going to be on? Is he going to be on Cortland Sutton, or is he going to be on Manny Sanders? Because I've seen different opinions on who he's going to be on. If he's on Manny Sanders, then I'm probably going Fuller and taking the upside. Yeah, that could definitely be it, Anthony. But I don't think Craig is a point chaser, so I just don't know if people are seeing something I'm not seeing. I just can't get there. I'd rather play Noah Fant at 2,800, who's running like the second most routes amongst tight ends, and he's an athletic freak. And if Manny, as we were talking, if Manny or Sutton get shadowed by Hayward, then they're going to need help elsewhere, and it could be a Noah Fant week. Should I drop Delaney Walker? Is he a bust? Obviously, anytime anybody asks, like, should I drop a player? Should I trade a player? It always is determined by what the other options are. What do you get in a trade? What do you get if you drop him? Like, who can you pick up? And then Gary, is it Dynasty? Is it redraft? I don't know that he's a bust. Mariota likes him, and Mariota's actually been good this year. Today is not a day that I want to play any Titans. I really respect that Bills defense. I talked about it last Sunday morning. People laughed at me when I said that they had a shot to beat the Patriots in Buffalo. But today is not the day I'd want to play him, but I don't know that he's a bust. And that's what I thought. I thought he'd be on Sanders. But I don't even know now. I mean, Sutton's having a good year, and I know you and I both like Sutton a lot. Do you let Sutton beat you downfield, Or do you let Sanders carve you up underneath? I think that's always the question. Which one do you shut down? Yeah, and that's what I thought initially, but looking at it, I think Sanders is only running like 30% of his routes out of the slot now. Yeah, there you go. Ryan says Sanders plays 24% out of the slot, playing more outside than he did in the past. Anthony says trade Walker, don't drop him. Like I said, it depends on league size. If you've got a good option on the waiver wire, then you can always drop a guy. But make sure that the option's good enough replacement. If you're over on YouTube, please hit that like button. Really helps out a ton. And if you like what we're doing here, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. We appreciate it. And we are reworking some of our video content that we'll be dropping on YouTube. Plus, if you're a Dynasty player in the spring leading up to the draft, we will have a lot of breakdowns on college players coming out into the draft and the combine and all that fun stuff. Year-round content, football content on our YouTube channel. Don't take out Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell is going to get the touches. You want that. I wouldn't play Williams or Howard over Le'Veon Bell. Was this was the standard league? Even in standard, like, he's just going to get so many touches. And we don't know how much Williams or Howard are going to be used. We know Le'Veon Bell's the guy. I just think Howard's going to get carries, especially since he's the hot hand right now. So I would keep Howard in there and Le'Veon Bell. Okay, Nate says Gallman, Robbie Anderson, or Sanu. Pick 2. Gallman is out for me. I'd play Anderson and Sanu. And I don't care that you have Julio. Sanu's still getting looks. They're going to throw a ton. Matt Ryan has not thrown for under 300 yards this year. Gallman has a terrible matchup. He didn't look good in a decent matchup last week. Yes, he found the end zone twice. One, he was left completely open for his reception. He wasn't efficient on the ground, and Minnesota's tough. Chris Herndon or Vance McDonald for a roster spot stash. I have Mark Andrews. I wish we knew that Darnold would be back. I'd probably go Herndon either way. I like both of them though. Rodgers at Dallas or Wentz versus Jets. I guess because of Devontae Adams, Wentz, yeah. I would have played Wentz anyway. Rodgers, actually, I think he's only eclipsed 17 points once this season. Their offense is bottom third in the league. So I think I would go Wentz either way. Jets can't stop anybody except for the tight end. I don't know if we have any poker players out there, but I used to play a lot of poker. And there's that big cheating scandal going on right now, and I've been following that. So my Twitter has been live for the past week, 2 weeks or whatever, with all that cheating stuff going on. Would you go Minshew over Rodgers? That I would not do. Carolina's actually really tough against the pass too. And then Rodgers is Rodgers, so Rodgers can beat any defense. I would just not start him if I didn't have to. I think he got to over Minshew, though. Nice. Good job, Paul. Way to win that back. Let's see. What else did... Excuse me. Let me check... see if we've got any updates on any players. Taylor Meredith. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, Watkins is expected to play. Kenny Stills expected to be out. Kiki Kuti is an option. I posted in my write-up yesterday about leverage plays on DraftKings. Kuti, 4 of his 7 games last year were monsters. 2 of them had Will Fuller in the lineup, so it wasn't like he was just good with Will Fuller out. The average scrub asks, Auden Tate, Golden Tate, DJ Shark, or Sutton for wide receiver 3 spot. Man, I really wish we knew where Casey Hayward was going to be. I have a feeling he's going to be on Emmanuel Sanders most of the time, so I probably go Sutton. I want to see how Golden Tate's going to be used. But again, I don't like that matchup, so I want to get a week in before I see about throwing him in my lineups. People don't realize Sutton's on pace for like 1,200 yards right now. He's just having a real quiet breakout. Good, man. I'm glad you're doing good, Taylor. And sorry I haven't got back with you on the phone. I just haven't decided what I want to do. I don't know if I want to spend another $1,300 on a phone. Do we know who is in the slot for the Giants? See, that's one of the things that I'm looking for. I'm looking to see how they use Tate and Sterling Shepard. Do they both play out of the slot? You can run double slots. A lot of teams are running a lot more double slots. So they could run double slots, but Ingram runs out of the slot too. It's definitely rough. Assuming no stills, Kiki Kuti or Manny in half PPR. I have Mac, but was planning to sit. I have Hines on my bench. I'm playing Mac if he's active, but then I'm probably still going Manny. Man, I want to know, somebody find out where Hayward's going to be. That would seal up a lot of our stuff for that game and those receivers. Lindsey, a good flex play. Depends on who else you've got. They are utilizing those running backs out of the backfield as pass catchers more than they were last year. So I do like that. 1 second here. Let me check some fantasy. Okay. Yeah, Chargers are giving up 20.4 points per game to running backs. I would look elsewhere if possible. To give you an idea, that's literally about the same amount of fantasy points that Chicago gives up to the running back. But the Chargers, are less efficient. The Bears give up 3 yards per carry. LA, 4 yards. Chicago gives up a lot of receptions to the running back. Cohen versus Oakland or Allison versus Dallas. If I want upside, I'm going Cohen. If I'm looking for a floor, then I'm probably playing Allison because I do think that he's gonna, probably get you at least 3 for, 30, 40 yards. Chicago always scares me a little bit with the way they're using these running backs. I have Michael Gallup as an option as a flex play. Was that a PPR format or I don't know if we're starting Gallup. Let me look at I think Gallup versus Lindsey would be pretty close. Green Bay gives up 11.4 points to wide receiver 2s. I believe they shut down wide receiver 1s. Yeah, 8.1 to wide receiver 1s. So if you got Cooper this week, you might be in for a rough one. Let's do this. Let's look at... Yeah, the Chargers don't give up anything to the slot receiver. Chargers versus the wide receiver 1. 9.2. Pretty much shut them down. Defense. I'm playing Sutton. I'm sitting Sanders, I think. So the Chargers give up 20.4 points to the wide receiver 2. I have to think that Sutton's, still running. And that's, running in the Z spot, right side. I think Sutton ran most of his stuff there against Chicago. Sutton is suddenly turning into a... Man, I don't know if I trust it. Yeah, Dallas. Well, let's look, right? We can figure that out. Allison runs mostly out of the slot. Dallas does not give up points to the slot. 6.1 points on average to slot receivers on 5.3 targets per game. King is out. We'll need some confirmation on that. We are. I think we're just going to stay here on where we're at and not move off into the VIP group this week. I'm looking up Desmond King right now. I don't see anything about Desmond King being out. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know. Ryan, I'm not sure what King you're talking about. There are some tough matchups this week, guys. It makes it tough, especially with you when you got bye weeks going on. You've got some good players playing late, especially ones that are game time decisions, questionables. Makes it really tough when you've got these poor matchups going on. Cole Beasley or Golden Tate in PPR. I mean, I'm probably playing Golden Tate. I don't like the matchup, but I don't particularly like Beasley at all anyway. But the Titans aren't exactly soft on defense, so I probably just go with the better talent and go Golden Tate. Yeah, Paul, that's the allegation is that Mike Postle was playing live on Stone's Casino's live stream, and over the last 2 years, like, did not lose while on the stream. Like, rarely ever lost. One of the only bigger losses, came when another guy was on vacation that works at Stone's. People are going through all the video from the live feeds, watching him do weird stuff and weird hands, looking into his lap a lot, where his phone is. And there's one clip of one of the guys that's announcing where you see him typing something, and then he announces that Mike Postle's going to fold in a spot where people just aren't folding. But he's made people have said he's made upwards of like $250,000 playing 1-3. Just crazy numbers, and people got suspicious finally. So Joey Ingram did a thing, and SVP actually talked about it on his show 2 nights ago, I think. Everybody on YouTube, get those questions in the chat. Michael Holland asked, Wentz or Murray? I'm going with Wentz. I like Wentz a lot this week. Not that I dislike him normally or anything, but I definitely like him this week. If you're over on YouTube, if you could do me a favor, I would really appreciate it. Spend my Sunday mornings with you. If you could just give me a like and a subscribe over there on YouTube, that would be great. Emmanuel Sanders or Calvin Ridley, PPR. We've been talking about it for a while on this stream. Like, we don't know who Casey Hayward's going to be on. I'm assuming it's going to be Emmanuel Sanders. If that's the case, then I expect a down week from Sanders. I like the upside of Calvin Ridley in this Houston game. So if you really want to take advantage of a ceiling for a player, then this might be a week that Calvin Ridley kind of goes off. Shark or Mixon in the flex spot. Mixon all day long. Arizona, not good on defense. Cincinnati, down a weapon. Well, down two big weapons with John Ross and A.J. Green out. Mixon getting more and more involved as the season progresses. I'm firing Mixon up wherever I've got him for sure. Yeah, Michael, I really wish we knew, maybe Hayward is on Sanders 50% of the time, Sutton 50% of the time. I'm actually really liking Noah Fant this week because no matter what, one of them receivers is basically shut out. But we know that Flacco will take shots. He doesn't care who you're covered by. So they've definitely got some chances that they'll get. Yo, PPR for both. Fuller or Samuel. And then Sterling, John Brown, or Samuel. I like Fuller and Samuel both a lot this week. Ramsey is sitting, right? He is not active. Do we know that for sure? Okay, he will not play. So that means Boye is going to be on DJ Moore. I like it. I like Samuel a lot this week. Man, I probably just play Fuller and Samuel. Well, the nice thing is, yeah, I did see that he's out for sure. But the nice thing is, here in another 30 minutes, we're going to have all the inactives. I'm going to take a 2-minute break here, and then I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Had to get a water. Was losing my voice there. Michael, how you doing? Paul says, yeah, Ramsey has a sandy vag. He's not happy where he's at. That's for sure. And they are not budging on trading him. I always wonder, like, ho 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 ho, Paul's got jokes. Rick wakes up extra early on Sundays. Trust me, he doesn't like this. I'd rather sleep in, get up, make sure all my lineups are good. I only have a couple. This is what we're playing this week. If you want to see, I'm going to have to watch that Juju news. So if anybody hears, make sure you let me know. Chris Resendez, how you doing, buddy? Long time no talk. Paul's got jokes. Chris just dips in and doesn't say hey. That's cool. Taylor's back. What do we got over on YouTube? Ask them questions. What do you guys, why don't we go through some of these DFS plays here? I do think it's pretty cool that they didn't play the London game at 9 in the morning Eastern time, 6 in the morning PST. I just never understood why they did that. Under 2 hours till game time. So, for cash, this week, Matt Ryan is my lock, man. This dude has been unbelievable so far. He's not priced like it. He's throwing 40 times plus in 3 of the 4 games. Over 50 last game. Over 300 yards in every game. Just for 5,900, like, it seems like a sure bet for the 300 bonus. In a game versus Houston, who should also put up some points. Great game-to-game stack. But I love how safe he is. Should get us the, 18 points for 3x if you're one of those people. But has a chance to 4 or 5x in this game. So he's got some upside there too. If he has one of these 3 touchdown games, 300 yards, we're sitting real nice cash-wise. So I love him for cash. Other options for cash, I think Carson Wentz against the Jets. They have one of the highest team totals, or maybe the highest. I can't remember if it's them or the Patriots, but he's also been safe at 6,100. We want at least 18 points out of him. He's had 19 points in every game. Seems like a safe play. I know a lot of people like the running floor. I think Watson, he's like an every other week guy, so maybe this is his 30-point week. I know a lot of people are touting him as cash play. I'd rather save the money, save 800, use it elsewhere, and play Matt Ryan. I just think Matt Ryan's super safe this week. Sheldon asks, are you playing Rodgers or Cousins? Oh, man. I don't like Rodgers' matchup. Let me look here a second, though. Dallas. Dallas is giving up 12 points to quarterbacks per week. Cousins isn't throwing the ball a lot. But if you believe in the squeaky wheel narrative, then I would go Cousins, I think. I really don't want to attack Dallas unless it's on the ground. They can be had on the ground, but they're tough against quarterbacks and receivers. Pick 2, Ingram, Bell, or Aaron Jones. Bell for sure. And then probably Aaron Jones for me. Yeah, Bell and Jones, I think, would be my two guys. Maybe not. Bell and Ingram? I think they're both fine plays out of Ingram and Jones, but James, how you doing? Lock of the day, cash-wise. Look at this beast. 37 touches last week. 27 the week before. We had that Thursday turnaround where he only got 18, only scored 7.3, but he's been above 30 every other week. 19 and 10 for 29. Dude's just getting so many touches. He's not leaving the field. I think he's only missed 4 snaps so far this year, which is crazy for a running back. I just think if you're playing cash games on DraftKings, like McCaffrey has to be a lock until his price is 10,000. David Johnson is another one getting a lot of hype this week. My issue is that he has only eclipsed 11 carries once this year in 4 games. They're normally trailing. They don't get to run the ball a lot. Maybe this game's different because it's Cincy. Cincy not good against the run or the pass or anything. He is getting work in the passing game with 20 targets over the past 2 weeks. But I don't know if I love him for cash. I love him for GPP. Here's one of my other cash plays. 20 touches a week. 31 last week. 21, 19, 17. They're going to need him, and Carolina has not been good against the rush. Patriots minus 1,400. You're going to have to bet a lot to make that one worth it. Pettit or Pettis? I would pick up Brissett. If you can start Brissett versus KC, I would probably do that, especially since it looks like Hilton's going to play. I would probably start Brissett. Cousins could definitely get there today. I just don't know if I trust it. I think they should whoop them, and it could turn into running all second half. Maybe a lot of Madison, Leslie. So I'd go Brissett. Jason Sanchez, Devonta Freeman, or Marlon Mack. I'm playing Marlon Mack if he's good to go. If he's active, I'll play Marlon Mack. Do you think Disley will continue to put up solid numbers the rest of the season? Terry McLaurin is active. Just got the notification. Terry McLaurin will be active. But we don't love him this week because that matchup's not good. So you're probably not playing McLaurin if you've got him. Anyway. Oh, yeah, Marlon Mack late. You have no options if Marlon Mack ends up sitting. You don't have any other options if you wait for him. Jason, awesome. I'm Chicago. I'm about 3 hours from Chicago. Chicago's my sports city. Cubs, Bears, Bulls. No other options, then you probably have to go Freeman. Joe, Disley, I think, is going to put up numbers. I think Russell Wilson trusts him, likes him. I'm very encouraged by the fact that he ran 78% routes. They left him in the block less last week than they had in the past. Or this week, I guess, Thursday night. I think Disley's better than we wanted to give credit for. Pettit. What am I missing? Pettit? Pettit who? Pettit. Are you talking hockey, maybe? Oh yeah, I can't speak on the corruption in Chicago, but yeah, I just Chicago's my sports city. Some deep dish pizza every now and then. Visiting Wrigley Field, that's about it. So I can't speak on the corruption. I do go to the casino outside of Chicago every now and then. Hammond horseshoe for some poker. Yeah, I definitely understand. I think obviously going Freeman's the safe route, but um, I've never loved him as a player. Oh, definitely, Jason. I do, and I don't really know craps in and out, but me and my buddies will get together every once in a while, and we'll go and we'll play some craps, especially when we're out in Vegas. So yeah, definitely, I'll play some craps with you if I'm ever there at the Horseshoe with you. I did see Allen Iverson. I did watch him play craps there at the Horseshoe one time when he was in Chicago playing against the Bulls. Uh, there was a big eruption of cheers and everything, and I left the poker room and went over and watched Iverson playing craps. Dude, Ryan, you had my mind was like blown. I'm like, how did I miss like this new Pettit player? Thought at first you were talking about him, but the second time you said Pettis, I was all confused. I don't know what to make of the wide receivers in San Fran right now, though. One week we think that Debo just completely takes handle of the wide receiver one job, and then the next week's a Pettis week. Marquise Goodwin's always, a threat for a deep bomb. I'm not comfortable with any of them right now. Paul over here on Facebook said that he played blackjack with Iverson once. Dennis says, which four players to start out of these seven? Freeman, and I'm assuming that's Devonta Freeman, Melvin Gordon, Gallman, Lindsey, Aguilar, MVS. So we're starting four. So I'm sitting Gallman and MVS. And I'd probably sit Aguilar. Man, I don't know. It comes down to Freeman or Aguilar for me. I probably take Freeman just because he gets the touches. Mike Ortiz. Not sure if I should wait on Marlon Mack. That's a big question right now for a lot of people is what do I wait on Marlon Mack? Or play Royce Freeman or Jalen Samuels. I'm not comfortable with Jalen Samuels. I understand last week was kind of a crazy week. I guess if we get the news on Juju, which should be coming out here in the next 10-15 minutes, we should get news on that. If Juju's out, then maybe Samuels is the play. If you don't have any other late options, then I'd probably plug in Royce before Jalen if Juju plays, but that one could go either way. If they continue to use Jalen Samuels the way they used him last week, then fine, but I don't know if I buy into that Wildcat. It can fool you when it comes as a surprise, but when you game plan for it, it's a whole different story. Do you think the Colts fall behind and the running game takes a back seat? It could definitely happen. But Marlon Mack was running a lot of routes, and I just don't think that they're going to have him active if he's not going to be able to play. Sitting Gallman touches. Okay, and I've said this a lot. I understand he gets touches. For one, Minnesota is very, very tough against the run. Gallman was not efficient at all last week against Washington. I don't think he's that good of a talent. I understand he gets touches, but he literally fell into the end zone twice last week. Without those two touchdowns, it's just an okay day versus Washington. I don't like him at all. I'll just be honest with you. I don't like the talent, and I don't like him facing Minnesota. Same reason why I wouldn't play Josh Jacobs this week against Chicago, or I've talked about not playing, Dak or Rodgers in that game because both teams are tough against the quarterback. Or should I sit MVS for Mac and play Freeman and Mac? Let me look at this real quick. Okay, so if we go, obviously MVS is going to be the wide receiver 1. Allison runs out of the slot. Dallas does give up the 4th most points to wide receiver 1s. So I think MVS is in play this week. Not a problem, Mike. These are obviously, my opinions. I do study quite a bit on matchups, and I do probably, I may take my matchups a little too seriously, but, I'm not a big fan of Gallman. In Minnesota, let me pull this up here. Minnesota's just tough against the run. I understand he's going to be involved in the passing game, but I just feel like if he doesn't find the end zone this week, which is very possible, that he disappoints you. Paul says Gallman is crap. I mean, I don't disagree. I was really hoping that that Saquon would come back and just kind of save us all from this mess. Do you like Gardner Minshew in Carolina where it's raining, or Daniel Jones at home against Minnesota? Oh, man. Let me check this out here. Carolina has been pretty damn good against the pass. Both teams have been. Carolina's giving up 12.52 points to quarterbacks less than 200 yards passing per game. They get chewed up on the ground. Minnesota, they give up 240 yards passing, 15.29 points per game. I probably take Daniel Jones, and the big reason for me is that I think he's got some good opportunity on the ground running the ball. I think he's got a nice floor because of that rushing upside that he's got. Minshew's got it a little bit, but he's not as dynamic as Daniel Jones on the ground. So I probably go with Daniel Jones. I just think he's a better talent too. Cook or Ebron for tight end. Let's look up Ebron here. Ebron, 35% of the snaps. He's utilized more inside the 20s. Jared Cook, 56% of the snaps. It's really a toss-up to me. I do think that Cook, like that whole Buccaneers front seven, pressure on the quarterback, quick passes, really works out for Jared Cook in this matchup. I think we could see a lot of short passes to Kamara, Cook, and Thomas. But that's truly a toss-up because we know that Ebron, even though he doesn't play a lot of snaps, is going to be utilized inside the red zone. Do we have word on T.Y. Hilton yet? We should be getting these inactives here. Roto World. Let's go ahead and go over here to Roto World and see. Julian Edelman will play. Melvin Gordon will split backfield work with Austin Eckler, according to Ian Rappaport. Still don't have a lot of news yet. We should be getting our it's 11:29, so we should be getting our inactives here in the next minute or two. Minshew is a sex machine. Carolina is no match. Juju Smith is active for the Ravens. Juju Smith is active. Who do I start? One out of these four. I lean Melvin Gordon because I think he's going to, he splits, but he's going to get the red zone looks. So I lean towards Melvin Gordon there against Lindsey and Aguilar and MVS. I think it would be between Gordon and MVS for me with Devonta Adams out. What do you think about Sammy Watkins if he plays? Would you replace him with Evan Ingram in the flex? Right now, I'd probably play Evan Ingram. I like Watkins. I've always been a Watkins fan. I think he's got a ton of talent. But Evan Ingram's just getting so many looks right now. And I think they're really going to need him. Let's look at Minnesota. Let's see how they are against the tight end. Minnesota can be had, with tight ends. So I'd probably go Evan Ingram over Watkins. This could be one of the Ingram, 14 target, 10 catch games. Kenny Stills inactive. Vance McDonald is active for the Steelers. See, what I know here is we've got Melvin Gordon splitting with Austin Eckler. We've got Lindsey splitting with Royce Freeman. MVS is the number one. Aguilar has to battle with everybody on that team. Jeffrey's the clear number one. He's probably going to get the most targets at wide receiver. For Aguilar to be valuable, I think we have to have Ertz get shut down by Jamal Adams, which is possible, but if he doesn't, then you're in a bad spot with Aguilar. So I'm definitely not starting Aguilar over those guys. But Melvin Gordon is going to get those goal line looks. I never know who's going to get them in Denver. That's why I probably go Melvin Gordon over Lindsey. Plus, you probably spent more for Gordon than you spent for Lindsey. Get your money's worth. Now that we know he's going to get touches. Joe, what did Disley cost you when you got him? Did you get him late in our draft this year? Or did you get him on waivers? If you're over on YouTube, if you would do me a favor and smash that like button, thumbs up, and hit subscribe. Hit that notification bell. We come out with video content every week. We do player breakdowns. Devin Singletary is inactive. Damian Harris is inactive. This could be a Sony Michel week breakout. Um, yeah, that's all the news I've got so far. I traded Hayden Hurst in the offseason to Daniel Fawcett and got Will Dissly. Good deal. Yeah, Dissly off the waivers is awesome. I think that Russell Wilson likes him. I think he's going to be utilized throughout, the whole field, whether they're in the red zone or not. Right, and he upped his, routes run percentage to 78% this week, which is pretty good for tight end. PPR, John Brown or Curtis Samuel. I'm going Curtis Samuel. I think he's got a lot of upside this week. Ramsey's out. Boye will be on more most likely. Let me pull up my wide receiver matchups here. We get we get Trey Herndon on Curtis Samuel this week. That's a good matchup for Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel's also been getting 10 targets. I think he's had 10 targets the last 2 weeks, or 9 or 10 targets the last 2 weeks each. So I definitely go with him here. Half PPR, Allen Robinson or Cortland Sutton. Allen Robinson for me, just because we don't know. And we talked about this, the first hour of the show, we talked a lot about whether Casey Hayward was going to be on Cortland Sutton or Emmanuel Sanders, and we're not 100% sure. I think he's going to be on Manny Sanders more, so that could benefit Sutton. But I think I just go with the number one wide receiver in Allen Robinson. He's going to get targets, 7 plus. PPR flex, Mac, Hines, Allison, Dorsett, or Moore. I like Dorsett a lot this week. I think that Moore and Allison have tough matchups. So it would come down to Mac, Hines, and Dorsett for me. And Dorsett's probably the guy I'm going with. Since we have to wait on the Mac news till late, and we don't want to do that if we have an option. So I probably go Dorsett, Aiden. Mike, thanks for the subscription, buddy. We appreciate it. We're going to keep putting out some content for you guys. Obviously, you guys see Brad's face a lot in the videos. I'm going to try to work some time in to get some DFS videos out. But as always, you can contact us through RotoHeat.com. Join our Facebook communities. We've got 3 of them over there. We've got one for redraft, one for dynasty, and one for DFS. And then Discord. We got that Discord chat. So if you look down in the description, there's links to the Facebook groups and the Discord chat. So we've got a lot of stuff going on. Our community on Facebook is, our dynasty, which is the first one we started, is over right around 1,200 members. So join us everywhere. We talk football all day, every day. Okay, got some news here. Tyrell Williams is inactive for the Bears game. Stephon Diggs is officially active for the Vikings versus Giants. And Case Keenum is officially inactive. No problem, Aiden. One more question regarding streaming defense. I have Tennessee versus Josh Allen. Shall I stick with them or pick up New Orleans, San Francisco, or Buffalo? I'm fine with Tennessee versus Josh Allen. I think Buffalo would be my second there. One last question. Kansas City is almost dead last in rush D. Should I just gamble and plug Mac? A lot of inactive this week. Yeah, I mean, I want Mac in that matchup, but it's hard to risk it without any other options. So, that's something I can't answer for you. That's a risk. That's a risky move if you don't have another option for that late game. So you don't even have a receiver or anything that you could play if he's out for your flex, if you put him in your flex? Or do you not have enough running backs to play a running back in the flex? Hicks is active for Chicago. Ertz or Andrews? I'm playing Andrews. Is it Damiano? I want to make sure I'm saying your name right. I'm playing Andrews because Jamal Adams could shut Zach Ertz down. Yeah, that makes it tough, Jason. Like, it'd be awesome if you even had just, a wide receiver that you could plug in that played later. But, between buys and inactives, if you're missing guys, then I think it's tough to risk it. Even though we would love to have Mac in that matchup. I would, at least. I appreciate you guys hitting that like button on YouTube. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you. Ryan says GPP. Do you go Bears, Auden Tate, or Samuel and Titans? I think they're both fine. Like, put one of them in one lineup and put the other one in another lineup. I've got Titans. I've got some Bears. I've got some Patriots. And I've won as low as Pittsburgh at 2,100. If you want to play the lower ownership, then you go Samuel Titans. I gotta sneeze, but it won't just happen. You only risk it for the brisket. Don't risk it for general beef. I'd set Mac. See, I disagree. I think Mac is legit. The only thing I have an issue with him is that the Colts he runs a lot of routes, but they haven't been dumping it off to him, so I'd like to see him more active in the passing game. And he's capable of it, so hopefully that'll change. Akeem Hicks is active for Chicago. We saw them stuff the league's leading rusher last week. 40 yards, 39 yards rushing for Dalvin Cook. Don't start Mr. Josh Jacobs unless you have no other options. Yeah, I do agree that matchup's crap, but Indy, and this is the thing, is that teams have to slow down Kansas City. They have to keep their offense off the field. So you can chew up their running game, and if you establish the run and continue running, you can keep their offense off the field. And that's how teams seem to be attacking them. That's how Detroit attacked them last week. Obviously, Mahomes looked human for the first time, but you got to keep the offense off the field. Got to run that ball. Ryan Furlong, how you doing, buddy? Okay, so we know Juju's in. I wrote up the... okay, we've got some more active news here. James Conner is active for the Steelers. Demaryius Thomas is active for the Jets. Edelman is active for the Patriots. Ryan says he got his RotoHeat shirt. Awesome. Sport that thing proudly. I'm working on some new designs to put up in the store. See what people like and whatnot. We'll do another pre-order and get some more designs up there, though. So with Stills out, Mac questionable, would you risk it with Mac knowing you have Hines or just plug in QT half PPR? I would probably risk it with Hines since you have Hines. I would probably risk it there. But I think QT is fine with Stills out. He was in my write-up that I talked about that I put out last night on RotoHeat.com. But what I was saying is in the Steelers game, one of the stacks I liked in DFS this week for GPPs was Lamar to Hollywood Brown and then running it back with Juju on the other side. Are we giving up on Anthony Miller yet? Sell for a second? No. I'm not giving up on him. If you've watched Chicago at all, yes, he hasn't got a ton of targets, but it's frustrating because he keeps beating guys. He'll be wide open and they'll just check it down, or they do throw it to him and they completely miss him. But Anthony Miller is a superior talent. It's going to work itself out. I would not trade him for a second. There's no way. If any league, if you've got him and you want to sell him to me for a second, shoot that offer over. I will do it all day, every day. Flex question. Jordan Howard, Austin Eckler, LaShawn McCoy, Golden Tate, or Josh Gordon. That's a lot of options. I think if you want floor, I go Austin Eckler. I still think he's going to be heavily involved, at least for another week. They're not going to just give all the work to Gordon. If you want upside, Josh Gordon in that game could be one of them games where he finally kind of breaks out and gets 2 touchdowns. I like all the receiving options in that Patriots game. Is that PPR? Because I guess that would change. I should have asked that. I play all PPR, so I always just assume PPR. But if it's standard, then I'm probably going LaShawn McCoy over Eckler. If it's PPR, I'll take Eckler. Thoughts on Trey Quinn? I happened into a share of him this season. It's tough because I do like Trey Quinn. The issue is that he's the third receiver on that team when McLaurin's healthy now. So when McLaurin's healthy, his targets are going to be sporadic, especially when they're utilizing the tight end. Because Paul Richardson's ahead of him. Paul Richardson's going to get more targets than him. So that's my only thing with Quinn. I like Quinn, but we're going to have to see how this shakes out because I think there's going to be a lot of change in Washington. The good thing is that he's cheap. In holding him, you're not going to lose a lot if something bad happens and he disappears. But you could gain a lot if they end up, making some changes and he becomes a bigger part of that offense. The problem is that him and Paul Richardson are both they're they're not really downfield threats like McLaurin is. So they're both, getting their targets in the short intermediate game and not down the field. Yeah, hold up there. If that's PPR, then it's between Eckler and Gordon for me, and Gordon for upside, Eckler for floor. Thoughts on Deontay Johnson? Ravens maybe shut down Juju, and we have a situation like Jarvis OBJ last week? Question mark. Deontay Johnson isn't Jarvis, in my opinion. That doesn't mean that he can't be good, but if they shut down Juju, then that whole offense could be in trouble. He's worth GPP dart throws. But I just think Juju right now is as cheap as you're ever going to get him. I would rather take my dart throw with him. I understand there's the toe issue, but, I'm not saying go overweight on it. I would rather be overweight on the other side with more Hollywood Brown than anything. See, I don't think that you have to be, especially to play in the slot, I don't think you have to be like an athletic freak. You have to be a good route runner. And I think Quinn can be a good route runner. I don't think he would work outside. He kind of like Quincy Enunwa. He's not a great athlete, but when he played in the slot, he was very effective for fantasy purposes. I think Trey Quinn could be the same. I just don't know what they're going to do there. And like I said, right now, between him and Richardson and the tight ends, whether it's Vernon Davis, Jordan Reed if he comes back, or even Sprinkle, who will be starting this week, I just don't know if he can get enough targets. I have Chubb and Mack in for running back right now. Would you prefer putting in McCoy, Howard, or Eckler? See, that's the other option, is that you could go the safe route, play Eckler over Mack, and then play Gordon in your flex. Last thing you want is to get stuck with, I guess you got, no. I would leave Mack in there because you've got McCoy, so if Mack sits, you can throw McCoy in. So yeah, I would be fine with that. I don't think McCoy and Eckler I don't think there's a huge difference between the two, since they're both splitting. I just think that McCoy is going to have less play in the passing game with Damian Williams back, if he is back. Obviously, we don't know for certain on him either, but it looks like he's going to play. Yeah, Denver's been they have not been great on the ground. And I do like Eckler this week, so I definitely think he's the floor play. I don't think he has the ceiling anymore, though, because unless he breaks long touchdowns, I think Gordon is going to get the red zone work. You guys have been awesome today. I appreciate it. Makes it a lot more fun when we're active and have a bunch of people chatting. YouTube brought the heat today. I appreciate all the likes, liking the video over there on YouTube. Helps a ton. We put in a lot of work, a lot of time into these things. Obviously, this has been 2 hours just today, this morning. So, we really appreciate you guys tuning in, watching, asking questions, being active. It helps, make the show flow a lot quicker. I would rather answer what you guys want to know than just start telling you guys stuff. So, Have your questions ready every Sunday morning, and definitely be here to help you guys out if I can. Debo or Big Mike? Debo or Big Mike? I'm probably going with Mike Williams. Unless we knew that the Browns were sitting everybody, that would be a different story. Do we know, or what level of confidence do we have that those guys are sitting for the Browns? We know Harris is going to be on Keenan Allen, and there's not a lot of other passing options for the Chargers, so I like Mike Williams in that position. But I could see the argument for Debo, but then we also don't know him or Pettis or Goodwin or what. So, all right, we've got 5 minutes. If you have any more questions, 5 minutes, then I'm gonna get out of here. Make sure I'm happy with all my lineups. Make sure last week I got done a little bit later and I rushed and left T.Y. Hilton in a spot, which reminds me I need to add points to that team because I'm going for the number 1 pick. But again, I appreciate all of you guys liking the video, chatting and everything. So if you've got questions, get them in here. I'll give you an answer. And I hope that a lot of the advice I gave today comes to fruition and helps you guys win your weeks or helps you win money. Okay, so Cleveland, both cornerbacks are out. I could see it. I just think that the target share in the passing game is, Inman was doing well before he got injured last week. I still go Big Mike myself, Paul. I still go with Big Mike. Thomas Davis or Harold Landry? I'll go with Davis there. Who am I playing the most in DraftKings? Well, we can pull that up real quick. So if we look at my lineups, it's a little skewed because my cash lineup I have in 53 spots. This lineup's in 20, so it's a little bit skewed. So like when you see McCaffrey, obviously that's 73 lineups he's in. So it says 70%, but it's not because I don't have as much of him in GPP. But in GPP, I probably have I have a decent amount of Cohen, a decent amount of Fant. I have quite a bit of Dorsett in my cash lineups. I'm going to probably put in some more Kiki Kuti. Running backs spread out a little bit. Aaron Jones, decent amount. Fournette. All right, everybody. Once again, I appreciate y'all coming out. If you're in our Facebook communities, you can tag me for the next hour leading up to game time and ask any questions. If you're in our Discord chat, you can always hit me up there. And if you're on YouTube, you can just go into the description of this video and you can get the links to any of that stuff real easy and join us over there as well. But again, I appreciate you all coming out, and I will be back Wednesday night at 9:30 with Brad Menendez for the Wednesday night show. And then I'll be back next Sunday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, with more pregame action every week. Don't forget, make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any more fantasy football content from the RotoHeat.com team. Also, right there, playlist. Hit it. Watch the videos. Do it. You want to.